Look, when it's cold outside, there's only one thing that you can have as a snack. You could opt for a sandwich or a bag of chips, but for me, there's only one thing that I would like to eat. The holy grail of snack foods. Ramyun noodles. Now, noodles on their own can definitely be a little boring. That's why we need the accoutrement. But, if you remember, it's midnight. We don't have time to be cutting up stuff and throwing things around in the kitchen. Otherwise, we might face the consequences. We might wake up something. That's why my 2 tips for making the best ramyun at home is to just use whatever toppings you have available. And if you want to pre-prepare some toppings, I'd recommend doing that, during the day when you have time, and then just saving them in the fridge or in the pantry or wherever you need to. That way you can easily grab them at a whim. The toppings that I elected to go for were onion, just because I had some laying around, which I then put into a bowl, but please keep in mind that if I were actually doing this at midnight, I would just kind of throw it on the cutting board. And since ramyun is functionally just Korean ramen, it would be amiss not to put in some kimchi. Some kimchi. There we go. I love sushi nori, so I tried to cut up as much as I can to have as many strips just to kind of have little seaweed snacks throughout the bowl. The next thing might be a little bit harder to get where you live, but I happened to find these dried ramen toppings at my local Asian grocer, and they are fantastic. They just add so much more substance than the little flakes that come with the ramyun. This one has imitation crab, squid, fish cakes, things like that. And thus all the toppings are assembled: the kimchi, the nori, the onion, the green onion, the ramen toppings, they're all together. Which leads me to my next tip. If you want that authentic restaurant feel, you can't just use a small bowl. No, you need to use a massive bowl. I happen to find this bowl specifically made for ramen, and it is perfect. Can't really explain it, but it just adds to the experience. The same applies for the spoons. You can use a regular spoon, but there's ramen-specific spoons that just have so much more depth, and that allows for broth and noodle and toppings all in one bite. It's optimization of the ramyun eating experience right there. And while these are all tips, it's ultimately a comfort food. So whether you use chopsticks or a fork, I'm not going to come after you. Some people might, but I won't. Now, of course, the piece de resistance, the actual noodles themselves, I happen to go for the woman-flavored one, but other flavors are available, so just pick one you like and stick with it. And now it's time to actually begin assembling our ramyun. For this, I always recommend following the manufacturer directions. In this case, they recommend 2 1/3 cup of water for the broth. From here, we're basically just gonna make ramyun. If you can't follow the package directions for this, then I'm sorry, you might have other issues that are greater than just making midnight noodles. So just sit back and relax, and let's enjoy the process. One of the things I will mention is that I do like my noodles as soggy as possible, so I tend to leave them in for about 5 to 6 minutes in order to accomplish this. I also let the noodles cook for about half the time, so in this case 3 minutes, before adding in the seasoning packet and the flakes. This is just to let the noodles soak a little bit so they can adhere to the spices a little bit better. In addition to the seasoning packets and the flakes, I do also add the ramen toppings at this time so they can fully integrate with the broth and the noodles. And now we added the toppings. Keep in mind that you eat with your eye before your mouth, so this is where you can be a little creative with it. Be artistic, lay things out in such a way where it's appealing looking. Keep colors separated so it pops a little bit more. And there we go, our fully assembled bowl of Shin Ramyun. The best part about this is that there's so many other ways to make this. This is just the way that I tend to make it. It's a comfort food. It's something to be easy and quick and warm and spicy on a cold night. So if you make it a different way, share it in the comments. I would love to hear how different people from all over the world prepare their Shin Ramyun. And of course, as always, thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to tune in next week to see Sanders attempt to be Mr. Beast again or something like that.
Okay, that's fine.